Are you playing too small? I know I was. I was playing from the world of scarcity. I believed everybody had an angle. Everybody was out to get me. I couldn't trust anybody. Then I found my real estate mentor. And when I found my real estate mentor, he turned me on to the opposite of that. The world of abundance, of playing big, of thinking big. I have it right back there on my wall, think big. He taught me that I could buy a piece of real estate. I could take care of the deferred maintenance on that real estate, fix it up, spruce it up, clean it up, make it a safe, habitable place for people to live. And then that property increases in value. And I just created cash for myself. My daughter did it. This is a great example. A friend of ours came to my daughter and said, "Hey, I know you program. Is this possible to do?" And what she asked was, "Can you create me a searchable database? Can you allow me to enter in all of my documents, and then you create a database that can search through those documents and suggest cross-references?" My daughter's like, "Yeah, that's not that big of a deal." The client was absolutely ecstatic. My daughter physically created cash from thin air, right? Because she created that product. Abundancy is about creation. Abundancy is about limitless possibilities. When I was, going back a few years, when I was operating in that scarcity mindset, let's first talk about scarcity and abundance, right? The scarcity mindset we already know is people are out to get me, there's not enough out there, there's limited resources. The abundant mindset is just the opposite of that. The abundant mindset says there's plenty of resources. The abundant mindset says I can create things. It's limitless possibilities. We can always make the pie bigger. That was a big one. We'll talk about that in a second. Making the pie bigger. But a few years ago, I was in that scarcity mindset. I spent 3/4 of my life in scarcity mindset. And I found myself, one of the ways you could identify that you're spending time in a scarcity mindset and a victim mindset, they're kind of similar. You're always asking, why me? If I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck, right? Are you comparing yourself to other people? Are you comparing where you are to where they are? Do you believe that you're better than them? Why are they always successful? So stop comparing yourself to others, because everybody has their own journey. And I'm going to let you in on I'm going to get in close here. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Everybody has troubles. More times than not, we're only seeing their good times. But we're not seeing all the troubles and tribulations they went through, all the challenges they faced to climb up the mountain that they're now standing on. It's like that iceberg effect. We see that little bit of the iceberg above the water, but there's a tremendous base and foundation under the water that we don't see. It's the same thing in real life. Stop comparing yourself to others. You don't know what their journey is. The grass is always going to look greener on the other side. Live your own journey. Be content in the actions that you're taking, because those are the actions you want to take. Do you find yourself fearing failure? Oh, if I do that, I might look stupid. I might not have the answer. People may talk about me. I may put it out there that I'm going to do this big, I'm going to invest in real estate, and I'm going to end up buying the wrong property, and I'm going to end up in bankruptcy court. And then people are going to talk about me. Do you fear the failure? I had a friend of mine, a very good real estate investor friend of mine. Their first property, they ended up buying sight unseen. They brought 2 single-family houses, sight unseen, really cheap, $2,500 a house. Now, if that doesn't make the red flags go off, I don't know what does, but it didn't for them. And then they show up at the property and they actually have squatters in the house. It's 2 vacant houses. They have squatters in the house. It turns out to be like this huge nightmare. Baptism by fire. Holy cow. But instead of acting from scarcity, instead of acting as the victim, oh, why'd this happen to me? They took on the challenge. And they ended up flipping those 2 single-family houses. And those 2 single-family houses, after they got them stabilized, and it took them a year to stabilize it, to evict the squatters, to do all the work, like extensive work here. But that then launched their real estate investing career. Because they said, this is a limitless possibility. I have a blank slate here. I can do whatever I want with this house because I basically have to gut it completely down to the studs. So it's all in your perspective, right? They didn't fear the failure of that project. They said, no, we're going to make this work. It's all in your perspective of how you perceive what's going on. There's a story out there, my buddy tells me. It's about 2 shoe salesmen. And they go to this faraway, distant island. And they get off, the boat pulls into port, they get off the port, and they're walking around the beach, and they're smelling all the food being grilled, and it's just absolute paradise. There's only one challenge that they have. When they get back to their hotel rooms, their respective hotel rooms, one guy calls back to the warehouse and says, book me the next trip out of here. Stop the production of all the shoes. Nobody here wears shoes. It's a beautiful paradise. They're all walking around barefooted on the beach. They're all swimming. I'm not going to be able to sell 1 pair of shoes here. The other guy in the other room gets all giddy. He calls back to his warehouse and he says, ramp up production. We're going to need triple what we thought we were going to need. I got great news. Nobody here has a pair of shoes. I can sell everybody at least 2 pair. Scarcity. Abundancy. Holy cow, talk about limited possibilities. When I was back again, I was looking for my real estate mentor, and I found this guy. And this is really important because he's the one that ripped me right out of scarcity and plopped me down right in the middle of abundancy. And I didn't know where I was. He would get on and he would do his podcast. He would write his articles, whatever content that he was creating and I was consuming. He would always end that content with, hey, if you need anything, if you have any questions, just reach out to me. And he'd give out his email address. So I emailed him because I'm in the mindset of this guy's way too good to be true. Like nobody's going to give me the keys to the castle without like wanting something from me. So I shoot him off an email, and I don't even remember what the questions were at the time that I asked him. I was just looking for his response. Was he going to get back to me? Second, was the answers to the questions I asked, were they in alignment to everything else that he was saying? The things I heard him say a year ago on a podcast. Was he in alignment? I was testing him. And he got right back to me, answered my questions. I'm like, whoa, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in the fact that he was so forthcoming. I just couldn't register. So I send him another email, and I get the same results. Now I go and see him. I get the same results. Like, this guy's a little bit too good to be true. So now I'm in conversations with him. He says, we're putting on this event. I go to his event. I gain access to his private Facebook page. Everybody inside that group has the same mindset that he has. Like, I couldn't fathom asking somebody for, listen, I'm looking in the Greenville section of South Carolina. That's my market. Does anybody have a broker down there that they could introduce to me? Yeah, sure, I got a guy here. Call this guy, tell him I sent you. Call this bank, tell them I sent you. You might want to reach out to this investor. He knows a lot about the market. Whoa, hold on a second. I might want to reach out to this investor. He knows a lot about the market. Aren't I his competition? Scarcity. No, I'm not his competition. I'm a collaborator with him. If he collaborates with me and I get something across my desk that I am unsure of, can't handle, is too big, whatever the case may be, who am I going to call? Who am I going to reach out to? I'm going to reach out to that guy that helped me. Wow. Isn't this a wonderful way of living life? Like, I help you, you help me, everybody gets along. I still can't believe that I'm inside a group and this is the deal. Like, I call them up and I'm like, listen, this is what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to build my team out. How would you suggest that I do it? Like, how would you build your team out? Oh, this is what I did. And then I started identifying the teams that were really winning. And I just mimicked my team after that team. Like, when you're on the outside, you're like, I just can't fathom that. But when you get on the inside and you start taking these actions and you start surrounding yourself with these people, it's just tremendous. It's like, holy cow, I can't believe this stuff's happening. I'm gonna call a weekly call with a buddy of mine that just reached out of the blue. Complete stranger, put a post up in one of my groups, and he said, I'm looking to do this. Is anybody else looking to do the same thing? I'll meet with you. I'll jump on a call. That call, our first call was in March. That call is still going on a weekly, every week from March until now. What is this? It's the end of October. It's almost Halloween. Every week, a weekly call. I'm on another weekly call with an investor that I met years ago. We've been on a bi-weekly call, and sometimes that gets sometimes there's breaks in that call, but we've been going back and forth for years now. Just, this is what I'm seeing working. What's working for you? What do you think about this? Tell me about your challenges. Let me help you out. It's amazing what happens when you're living in that abundant mindset. So what are a few actions that I took to transition from scarcity to abundancy, right? I challenged my self-talk. You are your worst critic. I've said it time and time again. Focus on how you're talking to yourself and then ask yourself, would I talk to my wife like that? Would I talk to my child like that? My mother like that? Would you? The answer is no. So start talking to yourself in a more compassionate manner. Somebody once said to me that every interaction you have with someone, you should treat that person like Jesus. Treat them like Jesus. Have the respect for them that you would have for Jesus. I'm like, I never really thought about it that way. Like, I'm a pretty compassionate guy. Like, I'm willing to help you. But I still sometimes, especially with immediate family, I get my my panties in a twist every once in a while. I yell and scream sometimes. I go all irate. What if I was talking to Jesus? What if Jesus is the person that broke the plate? Would I yell and scream at him? Would I show him compassion and love? Big mind shift. So watch your self-talk. Watch how much credence you're giving your limiting beliefs. Live in awareness. Live in intentionality. Start identifying those things. Kind of covered this already. Surround yourself with abundant people. When I was in that group and I was plopped down in the middle of that group and everybody else around me was just sharing and caring and loving. This is what I did. This is what I did. No, I never, and I asked some really basic questions. Like I didn't know what underwriting was. I didn't know what NOI was, CapEx. I didn't know any of this. I didn't know the relations between the numbers. And I would ask some really beginner basic questions. And these guys that had 100, 200, 300, 400 doors would be like, oh, this is what you do. This is how you do it. This is how you look at it. I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. I still believed back then that I was their competition. Why would you help me? Why would you teach me how to invest in real estate? Because then there's one more person going after limited properties. The problem is there's plenty of properties out there. Or the solution is, right? The solution is there's plenty of properties out there. And those properties are always changing hands. If I help you, if I make you stronger and more knowledgeable, one day we may do a deal together. One day we may have to make the pie bigger. I may come across something that's so big that I need additional people to eat from that pie so that I can eat from that pie. I'd rather have 25% of a pie than zero. And that's how abundancy works. When you're around these people and you see these people displaying it, you naturally pick up their habits. And in picking up their habits, you're taking those habits, those behaviors, those actions on a daily basis. And the world's becoming a little bit better of a place each and every day. Start surrounding yourself with those abundant-minded people. Show them. And when you could be that one person in your group, just help people. Just give to people. Enjoy the process of giving without expectation of anything in return. And life will start very slowly. You'll be shaping that ball, and life will start changing. Shifting from scarcity to abundancy is a very slow process. And it happens through what we spoke about, like gratitude, awareness, challenging your self-talks. Gratitude opens you up to what's good in the world so that you start seeing more of it. And as I did all of this, the world of possibilities just blossomed right in front of me. It's kind of like how the sun rises in the morning and it melts away the darkness. As you display more behaviors in alignment with abundancy, it melts away the scarcities of life. And a world of unlimited possibilities blooms right in front of you. So start paying attention to your self-talk. That's where it really starts, because I had really deep beliefs of how everybody had an angle. And start taking actions to scratch that self-talk out of you. Guys, around here, we live up here in the numerator, not down in the denominator. Go out there today and be unstoppable and absolutely crush your day. I absolutely love spending time with you guys. Have a very blessed day.